Okay, so now we want to start the inspection C. C is just the trailer and the tires of the trailer. So we want to start from here, from the front. The first thing we want to mention is the frame of my trailer. I will inspect it from here all the way around. I'm going to make sure it's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. The floor of my trailer, I'm going to inspect it from here all the way to the back. I'm going to make sure it's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware, free of debris or any other object. From there, I'm going to inspect this one right here. This is a tie down. My tie down, I'm going to make sure it's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. This one have a weld. I'm going to inspect the welds. I'm going to make sure it's not cracked, welded, no miswelded. And my tie down, no missing hardware. From the tie down, I'm going to inspect this slide right here. This is a clearance slide. It's a number in color because it's facing the front of the trailer and on the side of the trailer. I have one on the other side. I'm going to make sure they're not cracked or broken. They're securely mounted, no missing hardware. This one right here is a reflectable light. It's amber in color because it's facing the front of the trailer. It's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. This one right here is a tie hook. My tie hook, I will inspect this one the same way I'm going to inspect all the way around. I want to make sure it's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. This one right here is my DOT tape. My DOT tape, I'm going to make sure it's not ripped or torn and it's a full contact to my vehicle. I will inspect this one the same way I will inspect all the way around the trailer. From there, I'm going to come into this section right here. My landing gear. My landing gear, I'm going to make sure it's on the up position. It's not cracked or broken, and my landing gear is not leaking, and you guys want to touch it right here. My landing gear is not leaking. From there, my landing gear support member and my landing gear cross member, I'm going to make sure it's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. My landing gear, between my landing gear and my vehicle is a proper distance to perform a 90-degree turn. And then we're going to look under and we're going to inspect these ones right here. This is a cross member on the floor of my trailer. I'm going to make sure it's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. The same way I'm going to inspect this one, I'm going to inspect all of it to the back. From there, we're going to start walking to the back. And then we're going to put ourselves inside. And we're going to start inspecting from the inside to the outside. The first thing that we're going to see is the brake chamber. My brake chamber and my brake chamber clamp. I'm going to make sure it's not cracked, broken, or leaking, and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. From there, I'm going to inspect the hose for my brake chamber. I'm going to make sure it's not cracked or broken. I mean, there's no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks, and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. And the other side of my brake chamber, which is in the back, is going to be my push rod and my slack adjuster. I'm going to make sure they're not cracked or broken, and they're securely mounted by the pin and cutter pin. If I pull on it, when my brakes are released, should be no more than 1 inch of the plate. From there, we're going to inspect this section right here. This is my leaf spring mounts. My leaf spring mounts, I have one in the front and one in the back. I want to make sure they're not cracked or broken, and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. And this section right here is my leaf spring bushings. My leaf spring bushings, I'm going to make sure it's not excessively worn or torn, and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. This one right here, this is my leaf springs. My leaf springs, I'm going to make sure they're not cracked or broken or shifting, and they're securely mounted by 2 U-bolts, shim, spacers, and 4 nuts. Okay, from there, you guys going to touch them right in the middle of the tire. You guys going to say my inside half seal, and then my outside half seal. I'm going to make sure it's not cracked or broken, and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. You see what's leaking, I will see puddle or spin trail. If I need to add fluid, I will add it through the cap. From there, you guys going to come in inside again, and then you guys going to start inspect it. You guys going to start inspect the brake liners. The brake liners, they're not cracked or broken, they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. They're not allowed to have less than 1/4 of the inch of the thickness point. From the brake liners, my brake drum. I want to make sure my brake drum is not cracked or broken and is securely mounted. Doesn't have any sign of decoloration indicating the overheating problem. Between my brake liners and my brake drum, free of debris, grease, or any other contamination. From there, we want to inspect the two rims. You guys gonna say my inside ring, my outside ring, my inside ring, and my outside ring. You guys wanna come in outside. I wanna make sure that my rims, they're not cracked or broken, and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. My two rims are securely mounted by the lug nuts. Okay, all my lug nuts, they're present, they're on the tight position, they're not cracked or broken, they're securely mounted. One of my lug nuts was loose, I will see rusty because it's a metal rim. If it was an aluminum rim, I will see a shiny metal. I want to mention them between my two rims, and you guys want to point it right here. Okay, to make sure in between the two rims is no daylight and it's a full contact. Now I'm going to inspect my tires, my inside tire, my outside tire, my inside tire, and the outside of my tire, and the face of my tires. I want to make sure there's no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks, and they're securely mounted to my rims. Now I want to be specific. This is a trailer tires. They're allowed to be regrouped, recap, or retread, but they're not allowed to have less than 4/32 of the deepest point. I want to mention them between my two tires. There's no any object or any other contamination in between the two tires. Okay, fuel debris or any other contamination. Now, from there, I'm gonna come in and start talking about my tire. Okay, the air specification on my two tires is 120 psi, or I will check the manufacturer specification. To check the air on my tires, I have to use the valve stamps. I have two because it's two rims, two tires, one right here and one right there. My valve stamps, I'm gonna make sure there's no crack or broken, they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. The cap for my valve stamps, I'm gonna make sure it's not cracked, broken, or leaking, and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. My two valve stamps, they're not leaking. Okay, from there, you finish with the tire. From there, you guys wanna move in a little bit to the back. Right in here, this is my clearance lights. They're red in color because they face in the back of the vehicle. I have one on the other side. I want to make sure they're not cracked or broken, they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. This one right here is a reflectable light. It's red in color because it's facing the back of the trailer. I want to make sure it's not cracked or broken and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. This one right here is my mouth flap. My mouth flap, because it's rubber, I want to make sure it's not excessively worn or torn and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. Proper distance to my tire and proper distance to the ground. From the mouth flap, you guys are going to come into the back. First thing you guys want to inspect is the DOT tape. My DOT tape is present. It's no rip or torn, and it's a full contact to the vehicle. From the DOT tape, I want to inspect the lights. This one, this one, this one, and this one. The lights on this side of the vehicle, they're red in color because they face in the back of the vehicle. The function of these lights is my left turn signal, my right turn signal, my forward flashes, my running lights, and my brake lights. The light right here is my license plate light. I'm gonna make sure it's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. This paddle metal right here, all this section right here, is my DOT bumper. My DOT bumper, I'm gonna make sure it's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted. This one is weld, so I'm gonna inspect my weld. I'm gonna make sure it's not cracked, welding, or miswelded, and it's securely mounted. From there, you guys will see a lot of parts that I don't mention. It's because it's not required for the DMV. So from there, you guys are gonna come in all the way to the front. And right in here, we're going to inspect the landing gear. My landing gear lever is on the lock position. I'm going to make sure it's not cracked or broken and it's securely mounted, no missing hardware. From there, in one of the test trucks, we have a toolbox. It's a big toolbox right connected to the trailer. All you guys have to say, my toolbox is not cracked or broken, securely mounted, no missing hardware, and it's on the lock position. From there, you guys are going to come into the back. Once you guys come into the back, you guys are gonna set up right here. If you guys wanna start thinking, is you guys missing something? If you guys missing something, you guys have to go and mention it. It doesn't matter, it's right on the front of the trailer. You guys will mention it. If you guys think that the pre-trip is perfect, I will inspect this side of the trailer the same way I inspect the other side. That completes my C pre-trip. Now I'm gonna inspect my couplings. And you guys wanna walk in where is the couplings. Once you guys get it, where is the couplings, you guys want to start with the hoses. This is my emergency line, this is my service line. I'm going to make sure it's no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks, and they're securely mounted to my tractor, and they're securely mounted to my trailer. You guys want to grab it from here. This is my glad hand and my glad hand receivers. I'm going to make sure they're not cracked or broken or leaking, and they're securely mounted, no missing hardware. The rubber seal inside is not excessively worn or torn, and it will not leak. This is my electrical cord. My electrical cord, I want to make sure it's no abrasion, there's no exposed wire, no frayed wire, properly routed, and there's no black tape. And it's securely mounted to my tractor and securely mounted to my trailer. I want to mention that my hoses and my electrical cord, they're not tangled in the proper distance to my catwalk. If you guys don't have a catwalk, securely mounted, and it's a proper distance to my frame. From there, the apron. This is the apron of the trailer. The apron of the trailer is not cracked or broken and is securely mounted. This one is welded, so I'm going to inspect the weld. I want to make sure it's not crack welded, no miswelding. This one right here, this is my fifth wheel. My fifth wheel is not cracked or broken and is securely mounted. Between my apron and my fifth wheel is no daylight and is properly greased. This one right here is my fifth wheel lever. I'm going to make sure it's not cracked or broken and is securely mounted, no missing hardware. My fifth wheel is securely mounted to the platform by the pin and carrier pin. My platform is securely mounted to the frame of my vehicle, and this one is bolted, so I'm going to expect that all the bolts are present. They're not cracked or broken, and they're in the tight position. From there, you guys going to come in outside, and then you guys going to come in inside, and you guys going to be right here in the middle, and you guys just going to point it. This one right here is my kingpin. My kingpin is not cracked or broken and is securely mounted. It's on the lock position by the locking jab. My locking jab is not cracked or broken and is securely mounted, no missing hardware. It's on the lock position around the shank of the kingpin. From there, you guys gonna come in outside, and you guys gonna mention in between my landing gear and my vehicle is a proper distance to perform a 90-degree turn. And you guys complete the zipper tree with the couplens.